Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Today we are going to do a review of Game Week 12 in the Premier League and discuss some of the other results across the bigger European clubs. So let's go to the results first. So the weekend started off with a good away win for Chelsea against Burnley. They won 2-0. One of the most surprising results was Liverpool losing at home to Nottingham Forest and that to 3-0. Bournemouth and West Ham played out a 2-2 draw, but what was significant was that West Ham were actually leading 2-0 in this one. Palace beat Wolves 2-0 away from home, and Wolves are on 2 points out of a possible 36 right now, which is extreme relegation form. Brighton beat Brentford 2-1, and similarly, Fulham had a great victory at home against Sunderland. Another big surprise was Newcastle winning at home against Man City after how well City have been playing and how poorly Newcastle were playing earlier. Villa came back to win 2-1 against Leeds. I think Rogers scored both the goals in this one. And one of the highlights of, I think, Varun's season definitely would be the 4-1 trashing of Spurs by Arsenal. And I think one of the nightmares of Manan this season would be the United losing 1-0 at Old Trafford against Everton. And very interesting game. I think after doing this roundup, we'll have a little section on this. So let's get into it, guys. I think we can start off with the early kickoff. Did you guys watch this game by any chance? Manan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're talking about Burnley versus Chelsea.
The opening fixture.
Yeah, Burnley versus Chelsea, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I saw the second half. It was pretty much one-way traffic, to be honest. It was not the best of games, but just like Chelsea were clearly better. They seemed to be clearly better, and they had a deserved victory. Pedro Neto is a player who's really surprising me with his performances. Uh, like I did not expect him to be so good after watching him play for the past few seasons, but he's really surprised me.
I think Varun has just gone off the air. So,
Mhm.
in the meantime, I'll just share my views on the game. So, one was a surprising start for Tosin as well as Gittins. No one expected that. Caicedo was rested after playing 180 minutes of international football, and Santos started against in his place. And honestly, I think the most impressive thing was that Chelsea didn't miss Caicedo in this game because Santos was that good. So it was a really healthy performance by him in midfield. He actually got to play in his preferred number six position, which helped. The defense wasn't the best, to be honest. There was a couple of half chances which Chelsea conceded early on. Santos, Chaloba, Tosin, they got some good blocks, but honestly, they could have prevented some of the Burnley attacks as well. And their first goal came with Cucurella entering the box, passing it to Gittins, and Gittins with a great cross to Neto, who finished it off at the far post. One very interesting anecdote which came out after the game was that Neto, in his post-match interview, said that a very similar incident had happened in training, and he had put the ball completely off wide, and the entire Chelsea team were kind of teasing him, you can't head the ball, and he wanted to score the header to kind of prove that he can actually head the ball. So that was like a fun like post-match conference that he had. And the second goal was all about Mark Guiu. Interestingly, a former Barca youth prodigy, he stepped up in the last few minutes. It was a very, very surprising Chelsea goal, to be honest. Gusto could have chested the ball back to Sanchez, opted to play with his feet. Sanchez almost conceded the ball to the Burnley forward. Got one touch to Gusto, Gusto passed to Neto, Neto with a great run, a square, let's say a ball inside, and then Gio got inside the box and dead squared for Enzo, who finished the game. So I think a very good 2-0 Chelsea win away from home against a dogged Burnley side. I really don't think it was a very bad performance from Burnley, to be honest. But on the day, Chelsea were better. So, yeah. Coming to the Liverpool Nottingham Forest game. So I'll just take one. Oh, sorry. So Varun, do you have any comments on the Chelsea game? Were you able to see any
So
part of
me
it?
and Manan actually watched the last few minutes of the Chelsea game together at Woodside, and then I just felt that the kind of chances that Chelsea were actually having, they could have put the game to bed much sooner. The second goal could have been scored way sooner, and kind of the last few minutes could have been more of a cruise control kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, can be a little bit more clinical in terms of taking the chances.
Absolutely. And I'll reference the second game which we want to discuss, which is the Liverpool trashing at Anfield by Nottingham Forest. I think Manan had the privilege of watching this game with two Varuns, and one of the other Varuns, who's a big Liverpool fan, had shared on our group the same day before the game that he can see Liverpool winning 10 out of 11 games from here on. Really, he was
हाँ
right
क्या
about the
बोल रहा
first
है?
one.
Really, I missed this, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
surprising fact was that during the game he was talking as if Liverpool are going to win one out of the next 11 games.
Yeah.
While we were watching that game happen, but no, I mean, it was a total whitewash of a game. Uh, Forest really should have won 4-0. They were very cruelly denied one goal for a supposed handball, which I don't agree with at all. Liverpool were not in the game. They created barely any chances. Forest were absolutely dominant, and like this showed the Forest from last year, where they could pick apart teams playing their brand of football. You know, where they would not be hyper aggressive or hyper attacking. This Forest was actually a bit more attacking. Like they were not just sitting back and creating a bank of eight to defend. They were enterprising as well. It was not only long balls as such, but Liverpool had no answers. They were not in the game from minute one to minute 90.
So, what do you guys think has gone wrong at Liverpool?
So I think they overachieved last season, and there's just too much change that has happened. Like integrating so many new signings, where manager is also relatively new. It's not easy, and
Fullbacks.
they are
Fullback.
changing like key positions from how they used to play. The profile of players has also changed. Like if you had, let's say, a Trent and he's replaced by someone like a Frimpong who's not really playing there, but that or a Soboslai or a Connor Bradley, the profile of the player or interpretation of that particular position has changed. And a team takes time to sort of adjust to it. I think it's also aging of their key players. Like Salah is 1 year older, Van Dijk is 1 year older. So natural regression is likely to happen. Like Salah has not been so good this season. Van Dijk has actually not been like top this season, which like you could say Van Dijk has been the best defender in the league for every other season he's played for Liverpool, but not this season. So there is some regression, there is some chemistry issues, there is some like different interpretations of positions where players need to understand each other and adapt each other a lot more. Also, I feel that they are still like hurting from Diego Jota's passing away. It's not easy to lose a teammate that way and like get back to stuff as if nothing has happened.
What's your
For
view,
me,
Varun?
it's the fullback. I feel the fullback position is so vital in this modern game. Um, I feel that's where they kind of are. I think the one game that they won in the last 7-1 was against Villa, if I remember correctly,
Villa
and
and Madrid.
uh, and Madrid. But I remember against Villa they had started Robertson, and I think that was the key. And I mean, I think Kirkes for me is kind of been a little underwhelming for me, and I think even with someone like Salah playing on the right, you need a really, really good support from the fullback. So, and even with Gakpo is not like a top-notch kind of a player. He's a average player. That fullback makes a big, big difference over there. So, yeah, I mean, I think the fullback position is one of the important ones, and Isaac not being in form. So, yeah, even in that Villa game, it was Ekitike who started along with Robertson. I think they got it correct in that game. I don't know in the Madrid game who started. Do you guys remember?
I think it was two of them playing together, no?
Let me check.
Ekitike and Isak were both playing together.
In Madrid game, both were playing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
No,
fullback was
Ekitike
still
started.
Robertson. Yeah,
No, no. In the Madrid game, Ekitike started,
Ekitike started. Yeah,
and Isak, I think, no, he wasn't even on the bench. It
yeah, and
was
Robertson started on
Ekitike,
the left back.
yeah, Wirtz and Salah.
Yeah. So I think that Kirkes is kind of becoming one of the weak link because which is that is impacting Van Dijk's play as well. And second is Ekitike over Isak because Isak is completely out of form right now. I mean, I'm sure he's a great player and he will come around. But yeah,
So just a couple of thoughts here. One, at the beginning of the season, we saw Luis Diaz move to Bayern, and financially it seemed like a crazy move for Liverpool because Bayern ended up spending 75 million euros on a 28-year-old Diaz. Diaz has been, along with Olise and Kane, the
yeah,
one of the standout players in both the league as well as the Champions League so far. Very early
correct,
days, but he has been a very key cog in that setup. And the reason is because he not only does the attacking bit very well, he actually helps the
correct.
fullback a lot.
Fullback, exactly.
And the second thing which is there is like what Manan kind of mentioned, wherein Trent left Liverpool for Madrid. And I think somehow both Trent and Liverpool are both suffering because of that. Because neither is he fitting in the Madrid way of playing, and neither are Liverpool able to adapt to, let's say, either Conor Bradley or Szoboszlai for a longer period of time. And one again very interesting thing which happened during last year was that there were three players coming to the end of their contracts. Trent, obviously, who went to Madrid, Salah and Van Dijk, and it was expected that Salah and Van Dijk would actually leave Liverpool. And there was a big outcry from both Liverpool fans as well as opposition fans that how can you let two of the best players in the Premier League last year leave on a free? And if you look at the stats, if you look at the way they have been playing, so like it was almost impossible to imagine the kind of fall that Liverpool would go through next season, right? So I think
Yeah,
somewhere along the line, although Michael Edwards and the back end Liverpool management team would have tried to create a template to take Liverpool to the next level, somehow it has just not worked till now. Now, whether it is a manager problem, a tactics problem, a player problem, that I think only time will tell. But again, a very interesting rumor which has come is that Madrid players haven't been the most happy with Alonso, and there is a possibility of Zinedine Zidane coming back to the club. And Alonso rejected Liverpool for Madrid before when he was in Leverkusen. So there is a possibility that Liverpool actually end up signing Alonso, which would make a lot of sense because Wirtz was literally working very well with Alonso. And he also knows Ekitike very well. He also knows Isak very well. So I think it will be a very good combination. from that standpoint as well.
Hmm. नहीं, but I think ये थोड़ा, I don't know, connecting too many dots, I guess.
I don't see Alonso leaving, like getting
Too
sacked.
early for
Yeah,
us
yeah,
talking about Alonso leaving Madrid, yaar.
yeah. It's there is no point in even initiating that discussion.
नहीं हो सकता है. I mean, it can happen. It's just that I think it's a little
He
too
won't be
early.
sacked before end of the season or close to end of the season. So there's no point discussing it right now. He has a lot of credit in bank at Real, so I don't see that happening.
Uh,
Cool.
Also, ठीक है.
Moving to
I
the
think
next.
Madrid players might take a little bit of time to kind of get settled in with what Alonso wants. I think it's a different. Ancelotti and Alonso are very different as managers, right? So थोड़ा time लगेगा players को to get used to it.
And like a player like Mbappe has started working hard for the team, so I'm sure others will eventually come around.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
I
I'll
mean,
just
Liverpool really need to kind of change their psyche or kind of change the kind of rut they are in. I don't know. So I think go
so
back to the drawing board, go back to the basics, get the team selection right, pick the players who are in form, and I think you can take it from there, right? Win the easier games, win at home, and then yeah.
so I'll
Let's
just
go to
go
the
through
next
the
one.
fixtures, and in case you guys have any comments, we
Yeah.
can discuss that. Otherwise, we move on to the bigger games. Bournemouth, West
Uh-huh.
Ham.
I think like a mini resurgence with West Ham is happening slowly and steadily. They are sort of Nuno is creating an impact there.
Palace with a 2-0 win over Wolves.
So I have a
Palace have
question.
again, yeah.
Who is your surprise pick for top seven out of the like last year it was let's say Nottingham Forest. Who is your surprise pick for top seven this
I will make it easier for you guys. Wait,
My
I haven't
surprise pick for
purposefully,
top.
I haven't purposefully left Man United out. It is just the screen which is this
year?
big.
Ah, it's okay. We are talking about a surprise pick, na? So United वैसे भी eligible.
The surprise one would be United for me.
For me, it's going to be Palace.
Hey,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't
Palace,
disagree. So you look at again very interestingly, Palace have lost only 2 games thus far this season. They have been
yeah,
super hard to beat. So
Yeah,
if you can get some draws along the way, that kind of propels you upwards. Of course, you have to win the winnable games, but not losing is
yeah,
also sometimes equivalent to a win.
correct. Like, fair
And
enough.
maybe Bournemouth as well, if possible, one of the two.
You guys are thinking Sunderland is not going to finish in top seven.
I don't think
no,
so. Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Hmm.
I think they
Hmm.
will steer clear of relegation, which will be a very big achievement for them, to be honest.
Mhm. Mhm.
But somewhere along the line, I think their levels will kind of average out to reach that 45, 50
Eh,
point mark.
What do you guys think
Yes.
of what do you guys think of Spurs? Like we'll talk about Spurs when we talk about the match, but
Yeah,
uh,
I
just in
think
general, they don't look that
I
good, yeah.
I think I don't know if you guys saw the Thomas Frank interview pre-game conference wherein he was asked about
Yeah.
Eze,
You're
and
like as
he
who?
very yeah he very rudely remarked, "Who's Eze?" So I think somewhere along the line, he has not been getting the buy-in from his players. So even if you see the Chelsea game, the players were
Yeah.
refusing to shake his hand after the game. If you see the
Yeah.
crowd, let's say response yesterday, or sorry, day before yesterday now, or if you see the fan board's reaction, they were extremely disappointed with the kind of defensive squad that he had put out on the field, right? It was literally like a
Correct.
5-3 uh, two kind
Yeah,
of a
extremely
combination.
defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think I think I honestly rate Thomas Frank as a very good manager. I feel if he is given enough time and patience, I think he can really do well at any club. Uh, but
correct.
I think he needs to be given enough time to bring his ideas forward, and I think the players need to buy into the ideas. I think that is the major difference here.
Yeah,
I think he also needs to sort of change his mindset and understand that he's at a big club now where like so much tinkering may be more destabilizing than uh, helping the team.
correct. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was just not, like just the starting lineup in that game was extremely, extremely defensive, right? Like it was not expected that like they will be that defensive in in a high intensity game like North London Derby, right? Fans expect a lot out of these games. And then in that game, if you're putting such a negative lineup, I was very surprised. So you are playing five of them, and then you are playing Palinia and Bentancur in front of the five-man defense. That is unreal, yaar. Matlab, like literally, you are coming there to shut the shop. And I think it's not just the Arsenal game. I think he did something similar against Chelsea as well, if I remember correctly. And I think their XG against Chelsea was 0.05 or something, and then their XG
Mhm.
against Arsenal was 0.07 or something. Like, come on, yeah, like two of the most awaited fixtures for fans in the entire year, and you are kind of putting that kind of a performance. It's not acceptable, I feel. So, at some level, okay, fine, you are a good manager, but you are not reading the room correctly. So, yeah. And now that we are on that match, like couple of very interesting things. Of course, Eze is scoring a hat trick, which is the first time anyone has scored a hat trick in a North London derby in the Premier League era. So
Without
a
a penalty.
massive, sorry,
Without a penalty.
without a penalty, yeah. And नहीं Premier League era में हुआ ही नहीं है. Forget
Acha.
without a penalty or with a penalty. So yeah, and so a great day for Eze. I think a lot of us thought that Eze was signed to play on the left hand side as a winger, right? Instead of Trossard and Martinelli, but him coming and deputizing for Odegaard in that inside right channel, he has done really, really well. I think extremely surprised by how well he has done. Um, and of course, I hope he keeps this.
Manan and I are gonna use this moment to kind of let's say
Yeah.
just tell you we told you so.
Fine,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough. Yes, you guys
Yeah.
did tell
I'm
me
not
so.
surprised at all. And I think number 10 is his best position, or like centrally, be playing centrally is his best position.
Yes. So yeah, credit where it's due. Yeah, of course, you guys told me that he's going to be a great signing, and he's actually kind of thrived at Arsenal so far. Like he's gelled very well with the rest of the teammates. His connection with a lot of other players in terms of finding them, finding their runs and everything has been spectacular as well. Good finishing along with that. So yes, I think for me he has been the biggest surprise signing for the season so far.
Also, I would like
Second.
to remind you that last week's podcast, I commented that you guys should listen to me more.
I the beauty of Manan is that not only our viewers, even we don't listen to him.
Yeah, but you should know.
Fair enough. And
So
okay, the
just
second.
just one detour here because
Yeah.
the fact that we are mentioning Eze, the the topic that we were discussing beforehand is surprise top seven finishes, right? Now imagine losing Olis, imagine losing Eze in back-to-back seasons and still
Yeah.
being able to finish in the top seven. I think that is the hallmark of how well Crystal Palace are doing along with Oliver Glasner. But yeah, we can come
Correct.
back to the subject later. Yeah, continue.
So, so that is one thing, and the second thing, I would like to give a big shout out to a couple of other players as well. One of them being Mikel Marino. I think the pass that he gave for Trossad's goal was just superb. Like, and I think in such tight games where the team has come to actually sit back and kind of prevent you from playing the game and prevent you from scoring, the first goal makes a massive difference. Um, so yeah, like great pass by Marino for that Trossard goal. Good finish by Trossard as well. Um, Couple of just one more important point. Sorry, another player. Shout out to Hincapi. I think again great deputization for Gabriel. So I actually thought Mosquera would have been a better option instead of Hincapi,
And,
given that.
and again, I said Hincapi is going to be the better option.
See, I wouldn't say Hincapi would be the better option or not. I still feel that Mosquera would have been a better option. But Hincapi did play well. So if I would have been
Naturally
the,
left
if I,
footed,
it
no?
was my, sorry.
Naturally left footed, no? I think the combination
Yeah, but
wise will be better.
yeah, but I feel it's a big game, and it was would have been one of his very few starts in the league so far. Correct. And Mosquera has successfully deputized for Saliba. So I think, given the experience that Mosquera had already playing in the league in turn big games, I would have kind of started with him. Um, so yeah, but of course, I'm sure with the way Spurs were set up, none of Hincapi or Mosquera would have been in threat either ways. They were not a threat to any of the defenders. Basically, like it was a easy job for the entire defensive four. So yeah, but good shout out to him. His first North London derby, and then he of course like played well. Um, the last part which I want to call out in this game is just the psychology of the game, right? Like now, the entire last season, all the fans, everyone was like, we need to sign a striker. We need to sign a striker. And last year it was a very similar kind of a top three, where it was Marino who was starting as a false nine with Saka and Trossard on the either side of it. It's just that the entire media, the entire fan base were after the manager, were after the team. That's all we could talk about. Correct. And now that we have signed Gyökeres, no one is talking about the striker. And that has actually allowed the team to actually not think about the whole issue and play well. So we have been playing without Gyökeres for the last few weeks now, and the team is playing as good or even better than what we were playing when Gyökeres was playing as a forward. So sometimes it's like just the psychology or the kind of pressure that the media, the fans, the player put on the manager and the players, and that kind of plays with the psyche of the entire. I think the dressing room and the managerial staff. So
I think on that
yeah.
subject, right, if you notice, many of the pundits are extremely biased. Like if I call
Yeah,
out someone like a Jamie Carragher, now at the start of the season when Manu were not doing so well, he wanted Amorim to be sacked, and he was calling on major changes and saying things like they've spent so much of money, but they've not been able to get the results. When Liverpool are in
correct.
a similar situation, he's saying that Liverpool couldn't get Gehi, and that is the reason why they are suffering now. And in January, they need
Yeah,
to spend big on,
more.
let's
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
offensive options. So I think it's extremely biased in terms of how they kind of represent uh, football in general, and I think that puts unnecessary pressure on the clubs and the players. So I think it's
Correct.
more of let's say biased pundits rather than actual opinion leaders. If you see an opinion leader like a David Ornstein, or let's say someone who's more balanced, like a James Horncastle, or many of the other, let's say, uh, authors, or I would say columnists, I think they will present a more balanced view. So I think from where you pick up the information is also very important than just
Mhm.
the, let's say, the pundits in general.
Correct. Any last thoughts on the NLD?
I would say Richarlison's goal was superb. Like
Oh
Yes,
to
it
yes,
was.
catch Raya
Yes,
out from there was brilliant.
correct, correct.
and it
And I
was
think
so
that,
natural. Like he didn't take time.
yeah,
A lot of these goals that you see from the halfway line, it seems that the player has time to think and to look up and everything. Like Richarlison was just in one quick movement.
So with Richarlison, I think that quote stands true that he is not a great goal scorer, but he's a scorer of great
to
goals.
score of great goals. Yeah. Yeah, he has these moments, yeah, where he just comes up with like a brilliant bicycle kick or, like such a goal that he scored against Arsenal yesterday. But
You remember that
yeah,
goal from Qatar 22?
yeah,
Ultimate. Both there were two goals in that game and both were brilliant.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed. Yeah, but his
What's
output for the rest of the game was close to nothing. Like,
yeah?
Yeah.
literally, he didn't do anything for the rest of the game. So yeah. I
What's
mean,
the
I
next
will
game
be
we have?
surprised. I will be surprised if Tottenham finish in the top five this year.
See, I think okay, my shout out is a little different. If I go back to the table right now, I would say that if you notice closely, Chelsea are second with 23 points. Sorry, Chelsea are second,
Yeah, 20 points.
yeah, with 23 points. And let's say
Everton are
Nottingham,
18.
let's say someone like a Newcastle is 14th with 15 points.
Yeah,
So that's a gap of only 8 points separating 13 positions. And I feel irrespective of whatever happens from now till let's say Jan 4th, which is the last Premier League fixture in this let's say longer run, I think that'll have a bigger impact. Also, another thought for me is Arsenal versus Chelsea happens this Sunday. If Arsenal go to Stamford Bridge and win, or even if they don't lose, then I don't see anyone else catching up with them because effectively they have faced the most difficult oppositions and everyone else is struggling around them. So there are two components, right? One is you are doing your bit and someone else is outperforming you and catching up. Here we see the likes of Liverpool losing consistently now. We see the likes of City not being at their peak, right? They are keeping on losing games which you would not expect them to lose. With Chelsea, it's definitely not a team which you can rely on to, let's say, shut shop or, have that confidence in terms of a title winning outfit. So I think I would say, let's leave Arsenal out of this pack for now because I think they are definitely the best team in the league right now. But from second to 14th, I think anything can happen this season. I think it's going to be very interesting. And I would not be surprised if there are a couple of surprises as well.
I think 8 points is a decent gap, and like now, like is when you'll start to see teams separating from each other
yeah,
because again there's a run of games coming up,
yeah.
and 8 points is really like not so easy to cover because you need to win three and the other one needs to lose three, and like I think sort of Chelsea sort of is safe. City and Villa maybe topsy turvy. Like I feel still City will finish top five. The others, like I see Sunderland dropping down. I see Brighton also dropping down. Um, I see United coming up and Newcastle also competing a bit more.
By the way, Newcastle, Chelsea, both the fixtures are left, I think, for the season.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea, Man City also both the fixtures are left.
No, no, I'm like I'm saying, right? Like for Chelsea, I am reasonably, or I would say I'm extremely happy with the fact that we have got 23 points because In this 23 points, we have lost at home to both Sunderland and Brighton. And we have lost away to United. So from these three games, and after the Sanchez howler at United, I didn't expect them to have a better run, right? So, like, I think 23 points, irrespective of the league position, has been a good start for Chelsea. And out of these 23 points, Palmer has been involved in only 6 points in terms of the number of games that he has played for Chelsea this season. So if he actually comes back in full fitness and in full form, then I think we are definitely giving ourselves the best chance of a top four finish without doubt. But from the title perspective, I think like it, I would think it's gonna take something extremely like a crisis situation for Arsenal to lose it from here. Like everything is in their hands now. There's no uh, outside help which they need to win the title. It's all internal now.
Agreed.
And on the
Yeah, I
subject
mean,
of just one more point on the subject of 8 points being a big gap, the reason I'm saying it's not a big gap is because if you see Villa were 18th at the let's say 6 game mark of the season, and after 12 games they are now third or fourth. They are fourth. So it just takes that run of 5 games out of 6 to win those games to kind of completely change your momentum.
yeah,
But
yeah,
there
yeah,
are
for
more
sure, for
games
sure.
that have been done now. No? Like it's easier to recover when you have more games in front of you. Now,
Correct.
like one quarter of the season's already done, a bit more also. So it's not so easy to cover that 8 point gap.
Mm,
I feel it's
I
still
mean,
very early, yeah. I feel it's extremely early.
very
Like
early,
I
very
remember
early.
Arsenal losing the title after being 8 points in front with less than 7 games away. I think five
Seven
games or
games
seven
left.
games were left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 games left.
So you can
Yeah.
definitely cover that ground. But of course, like I feel right now it's very early. Giant Fort will give us a better picture because I think 19 games would have been done. So at that juncture, we can say that okay, fine, at the halfway point, what is the present situation and how can teams go forward?
Yeah.
Okay, coming
With
back to the
respect to Arsenal, yeah, I think the pieces are falling in the place. It's just that it's better to just take it game by game because again, like this is a situation which is very new to the players, correct?
Varun doesn't
And
want to jinx it. That's it.
no, I would. This is what I would do if I would be in that place, right? Just take it game by game. Set a target of 30 wins this season. Correct. You win 30 games, you are going to win the title. Correct. Irrespective of what any other team does or doesn't do. So
I think
you have
30
won.
games, 30
30
games
wins
is
is
ooh,
a very
20,
lofty target.
20, 26 games I think should be enough this season the way things are going.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying aim for 30 games. Correct.
हाँ,
बीच में कुछ भी हो सकता है. Your aim should be 30 games and you should aim to achieve that run rate. So you are already 9 out of 12, which means 27 out of 36. So you are kind of more or less on that target, kind of a thing. Right. So keep that kind of a momentum going, be cognizant of that target and just kind of work towards that. So yeah.
okay. In case anyone has any comments on Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, Sunderland, and Leeds, Villa, please do so. Else we move on to the two Manchester teams.
I want to acknowledge Danny Welbeck from Brighton. I think he's
Yeah,
having such a
purple
late
patch.
career resurgence. And he's back in the England national team talks as well. Like it's
Yeah,
incredible what he's doing. Like, and for me, he's never been a good finisher, and now he's finishing a lot of moves for Brighton.
yeah. And he's even looking fit, huh? Like it's not as if he's just not running around or anything because we saw the Brighton United game, right, together.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he was kind of everywhere. He was coming back to defend. He was helping the midfield. He was making all the runs, trying to
Hmm.
beat the offside trap. So fitness wise, he's looking great as well. It's not as if
Yes.
he's kind of cutting corners on on that front. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Cool. Let's head to the two Manchester games. Newcastle 2, Man City 1. What was your views on this? Except for the offside call.
So my first, just looking at the game, was my first thought was, we are going into how are we going to halftime at 0-0? Like it was such a performance in the first half by Newcastle that they could have easily scored 3 or 4 goals. Even City had like couple of decent chances to score in the first half, and then at the end of first half when it was 0-0, I was like, will Newcastle rue these opportunities? Kind of they might just come back and haunt them in the second half. And when they actually scored the first goal, I was happy. And then of course, Ruben Diaz scored the equalizer, and I was like, here it goes. Like probably this is where City actually, like have a City kind of a game, come back, score a second goal as well, and then kind of just shut it out. But then luckily Newcastle scored the second one, so yeah, really happy about it. But the first half was crazy. Like I loved the way the teams played in the first half. Yeah, just surprised that
I
we
think it
didn't get
was a
any
game
goals.
of bad finishing. Like
It was a game of bad
Newcastle
finishing.
missed
Yeah,
a lot of chances, and
yeah,
Foden also missed a few chances for City.
correct.
So I think it was a game of bad finishing overall.
Absolutely. And given how clinical Foden is with his left foot, like anyone would have expected him to score at least one of those chances.
Yeah.
So yeah, true.
But otherwise, a very good result for Newcastle, and like
Yeah.
they are showing that it's not going to be easy to play them this season. Um, not that it was easy last season also, but like I have a feeling they'll sneak into top seven. Like they would be in my top seven.
We had this discussion with Varun last week, and not last week, last to last week, and Varun was sharing that Newcastle has disappointed him. I think this was a good pick him up from this fixture for sure.
Yeah, but Newcastle are doing that, right? Like they are again become that one of those teams where okay, in the big games they might do well because the players are charged up, they are passionate about it, the crowd is charged up. But then there are these other games where just kind of they drop off, and there's just lack of consistency in their performance from one week to the other. So that is something that they have always struggled with, I feel like, and. I don't know. I don't know whether, as I was saying, right, whether this manager is good enough to fix that issue.
Speaking of lack of
So,
consistency, let's head to the next game.
Yeah. No, so I think when I was on the show last time, I had mentioned that United's results are not justifying the performances. I feel we were like better closer to the beginning of the season in the especially I think our first game this season was our best game, which we lost to Arsenal. So
And
it was
I
sort
think
of
Manan, the
coming,
first 20 minutes against Chelsea was amazing, like from a
but
United
we were
perspective.
already like one
Yeah.
man up after 3 4 minutes. No, so
Mm.
like I'm not counting that. I think like against Arsenal we
you were
were
one man up yesterday as well.
yeah. So again, so as I said, it's regressed. So performances have regressed. Again, United also created a bunch of chances which were missed. Bruno missed a few. Xerxes missed like three headers
Yeah.
within 10 minutes that he should.
But honestly,
Uh,
they were not misses. Yeah. And actually, matlab, I remember you calling out Pickford. I think Pickford had an amazing game. Yeah. He did exactly what he needed to do.
yeah, he did exactly what he did. But the striking and the shooting could have been better also.
Some of the headers were direct at the keeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Pickford, I really like Pickford as a shot stopper. So like all credit to him, but the shooting was also not so like they could have done better with the shooting. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's disappointing when you lose. 10 versus 10 this way. Like, let's say if this is a game which is 11v11, and the exact same game happens where United are creating exactly the same number of chances, and like the shooting is exactly how it is and stuff. I think no one would like question it as much. But just the fact that it was 10 versus 11, there's like a lot more criticism. I don't think it was the worst performance of the season for us, which is what the narrative seems to be. But definitely very, very disappointing. And I see that the upcoming departure of a few key players to the AFCON is going to hit us, like, impact us negatively, possibly. Like, unless some academy player just comes and sort of blows your mind instantly, it's going to have a major impact.
So, just one very big discussion point. I have only seen two cases in my life of a player being sent off for striking his own team. The
Yeah,
first one was Newcastle,
correct.
Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer,
Yeah.
and second one was yesterday. And as it turned out, I love the fact that Michael Keane was a former United player. It kind of, you know, it was a reason to kind of smile. Ki yaar, I think Idrissa Gay has got the wrong person on his team. And when he struck him, I was like, what the hell? How? And it wasn't like a full blown strike as well. So I don't know why it was taken so out of proportion, but okay,
Yeah,
going by the
actually,
letter
I
of the
I
law.
thought the same thing when I actually saw it for the first time. I didn't think it was like like he actually struck him, kind of struck him. It was more like just a push
Yeah,
kind of a thing, right? And
yeah,
I think this push kind of happens in opposition players also, and people don't give a yellow card or red card.
correct.
I think at that moment I thought it was a bit of an overreaction, but I was like, probably I kind of missed out on an angle or something like that, and that's why I'm not able to kind of like I missed out on some
Yeah.
action basically over there.
From what I saw as well, it didn't seem that dangerous, or it didn't seem that, you know,
Yeah,
it seemed very
I
harsh.
think just the fact that you're taking that kind of an action with a teammate is sort of like looked so wrongly upon. It is surprising because in England, players are not protected, let's say, from physicality as much as the other leagues. In fact, Donnarumma was also complaining about the same. He has been complaining about it for a few games now. But they take like same teammate physical contact so seriously.
okay. Mhm.
Surprising for sure.
What did you guys think of the starting lineup from Amorim?
I think it was okay. I think it was the same lineup that started against Spurs. Uh, yeah, instead of Cunha, we had someone else, but otherwise it was the same, no?
I always prefer Diallo at right wing back with
Yeah,
Mbuemo in front of him. That is my, let's say,
correct,
favored United position if I was a fan. Because I think
Yeah.
together they combine a lot better and they give an overload on that side, which is very difficult for any opposition to
correct.
handle.
And I would have rather than started Mount instead of Diallo, put Diallo on
For
the right
sure.
hand side,
For sure.
uh, because I
Mount
feel in
will be
this
a
case,
defensive winger in that case, defensive number 10 in that case.
yeah, and then because I feel in this case where you are starting with Mazraoui, who is a not a wing back, and then Dorgu on one side, and also Shaw. Um, I feel, and in Casemiro in front of them, I thought it was lacking an attacking intent to start with. That was my first initial thought with the starting lineup. Uh, and then
No,
I
I
don't know,
think
like
Doggo is sufficiently attacking. His final ball is bad, but like he
there's
makes
no
those
output.
runs, he gets into the like the right positions. But yeah, definitely the ball that comes out is not so great. Like he also missed a very good chance to score.
Yeah,
But
the
Yeah.
output is not
unfortunately,
there.
our wing back positions are not so well stocked. And with the injury
Yeah.
to Cunha and to Shesko, like that created a bit of an issue as well. I was okay with the same lineup. I don't like. Of course, I would prefer Ahmad to play right wing back, but I was still okay with it. But
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the result was very disappointing.
I would have gone with the original lineup of Dalot and Diallo as wingbacks, and Mount and Embuemo playing behind Xerxes. I would have kind of done that. But yeah, and also I feel, yeah, like the kind of chances that they created right during the game, even after they were 10 men down, I didn't think it was that, like, it was that clear cut of a chances that they were creating, right? There were, of course, like a few couple of crosses that they kind of gave for Xerxes to head. But apart from that, did you actually like see any clear cut chances with against a 10 men team? It's just that also, and that brings me to my point where the games that United have actually won, they have not won because they have been really, really strong going forward. They have won because they have been or they haven't won against a low block kind of a defense. They have won against on a counter attack kind of a thing where they are playing, say, a Man City or a Liverpool, and they are kind of breaking and kind of scoring goals against a run of play kind of a thing. So, uh, I it's again like a question mark as to how do United like play if they come across a team that's actually defending deep. So yeah,
So I think like we did not create any tap-ins kind of chances, right? Like very, very high XG chances. But I think
yeah,
we created a bunch of mid to lower mid XG chances, which should have resulted in at least one goal for us. And I agree that it's still a like not so clear in terms of like as I was saying, there's like the patterns of play, like where like instinctively ball moves around, players move around. That has not happened. And to break
yeah,
defenses of or low blocks, you need such kind of automatisms to happen between players. So that has not happened. Problem for me is it is sort of regressing a little. Like I could notice a few more automatisms earlier in the season, which I don't now. uh, so we need to work on that, especially now that we have time between games. We have that privilege, we need to utilize it.
correct.
Couple of shout outs in this game. One, Dewsbury Hall, I think, scored a really good goal.
Yeah,
He and that too with his right foot. So that was really good. And a big shout out to David Moyes as well, because heading back to Old Trafford, going a man down, and then getting his team to kind of organize themselves and win it. I think he and his family would have really felt vindicated.
yeah. I think this match has shown like a blueprint for all the mid-table to low-table teams on how to play against United. Sit deep and kind of play from there, rather than actually something what Brighton was trying to do, basically.
Brighton was not doing anything, to be honest.
Yeah. So great. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Um,
Yeah.
sure, done.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you liked it. Share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.